The email from the Franco-Russian Joint Research Initiative had painted this assignment as the pinnacle of scientific opportunity. 3 months at Vostok Station, deep in the heart of Antarctica, conducting groundbreaking atmospheric research on the planet's most extreme plateau. Competitive stipend, unparalleled isolation for focused data collection, and the chance to contribute to climate models that could reshape global understanding. Pierre Dubois had packed his gear with unbridled enthusiasm, envisioning papers published in Nature, lectures at the Sorbonne, and perhaps even a shot at the Nobel if his findings on stratospheric anomalies panned out. But as the Ilyushin Il-76 military transport plane shuddered to a halt on the frozen runway, Pierre's excitement gave way to a primal unease. The Antarctic plateau stretched out like an infinite void, 488 meters above sea level, where the air was so thin it clawed at your lungs, and temperatures plummeted to records like -89, 2 degrees C. No trees, no wildlife, just an endless expanse of ice under a sky that promised 6 months of unrelenting darkness come winter. The wind howled at 320 kilometers per hour, whipping up dry, powdery snow that stung like needles even through his triple-layered parka. Stepping off the plane, Pierre was met by a battered snowcat vehicle, its tracks grinding against the ice. The driver, a stoic Russian bundled in furs, grunted a greeting in broken English and gestured for him to climb in. The 30-kilometer ride to the station proper was a bone-jarring ordeal, the vehicle lurching over crevasses hidden beneath the surface. By the time they arrived, Pierre's fingers were numb despite his heated gloves, and he questioned every life choice that had brought him to this godforsaken place. Vostok Station loomed like a forgotten relic from a Soviet-era nightmare, a squat, metallic bunker half buried in the ice, its red-and-white towers barely visible against the blinding white landscape. Solar panels and wind turbines whirred futilely against the gale, and the French and Russian flags snapped violently in the wind. As Pierre hauled his duffel bag from the snowcat, a figure emerged from the main hatch, silhouetted against the dim interior light. "Pierre Dubois, I assume." The voice was gravelly, accented with a Norwegian lilt. The man was built like a fjord, tall, weathered, with a graying beard that spoke of decades in harsh climes. His eyes held a weary vigilance, as if he'd stared into too many abysses. "Yes, that's me," Pierre replied, extending a gloved hand. "From the University of Paris, atmospheric specialist." "Eric Larson," the man said, gripping firmly but briefly. "Station manager. Norwegian, but I've been here long enough to feel like part of the ice. Come inside before you turn into a popsicle." The hatch sealed behind them with a hydraulic hiss, plunging them into a world of artificial warmth and recycled air. The corridors were a labyrinth of exposed pipes, flickering fluorescent lights and reinforced steel walls. Labs branched off to one side, storage to the other, living quarters squeezed in between. Every window was shrouded in thick, blackout curtains, turning the station into a submarine adrift in an ocean of ice. "Drop your gear here," Eric said, opening a door to a cramped cabin. A narrow bunk, a metal desk, and just enough space to pace if you didn't mind bumping your elbows. "Not the Ritz, but it keeps the cold out." Pierre set down his bag, rubbing his hands together. The air smelled of ozone and stale coffee, with an undercurrent of something metallic he couldn't place. As they walked back into the hall, the muffled echo of their boots seemed swallowed by the structure itself. "Before you settle, we cover the rules," Eric said, his tone sharpening. "These aren't guidelines, they're mandates. Break them and you don't make it out alive." Pierre raised an eyebrow, expecting the usual spiel on equipment safety and frostbite prevention. But Eric's expression was dead serious, like a captain briefing his crew before a storm. "First, never look outside between 11:11 and 3:33. Curtains stay drawn. No peeking, no matter what you hear or think you see." Pierre opened his mouth to question it, polar mirages, aurora interference, but Eric barreled on. "Second, no answering knocks after dark. Ignore it completely. Third, full inventory check every Monday at 5:00 p.m. sharp. You get assigned sections. Fourth, report any holes in the ice immediately. Fifth, flag strange behavior in staff. Sixth, no going outside after sunset. Station seals until dawn. Pierre processed the list, his scientific mind rebelling. These sounded like rituals from a horror tale, not protocols for a research outpost. Isolation psychosis, perhaps, the extreme environment breeding collective delusions. And one more, Eric added, his voice dropping. No singing or whistling, no unnecessary sounds. They call it from the depths. Pierre couldn't help a chuckle. Call what? Penguins with sensitive ears. Eric's eyes narrowed, but before he could respond, footsteps echoed from deeper in the station. A woman appeared, middle-aged, with sharp Italian features, practical bob haircut, and the same heavy indoor layers everyone seemed to wear. Giulia Rossi, she said with a nod, her accent warm but clipped. How much have you told him, Eric? Just the rules, Eric replied. Giulia's gaze fixed on Pierre. Listen carefully, Dubois. These aren't superstitions, people who ignore them. They don't leave Vostok, not in one piece. Her matter-of-fact delivery sent a shiver down Pierre's spine. These weren't alarmists. They were seasoned pros, survivors of the harshest place on Earth. Yet they spoke of curtains and sounds like battlefield orders. I get you're skeptical, Giulia continued. French rationality and all that, but the plateau doesn't care about your degrees. It has its own laws. Pierre wanted to press for explanations. Seismic activity, gas vents from the subglacial lake below, but their shared glance suggested answers weren't forthcoming yet. Let me show you around, Eric said, steering them toward the common areas. The kitchen was industrial, stoves, freezers, a long communal table scarred from years of use. More curtained windows lined the walls, amplifying the claustrophobia. We eat together, work together, Giulia explained. In a place like this, isolation kills faster than the cold. As if on cue, another figure shuffled in from the lab wing. A man in his 30s, pale as the ice outside, with hollow cheeks and eyes that darted like trapped animals. His sweater hung loose on a gaunt frame. Ivan Petrov, Eric introduced. Our meteorologist, Russian, been here 8 months. Ivan nodded curtly, then froze, staring at one of the covered windows. He stood there, immobile, as if entranced by an invisible symphony beyond the fabric. Ivan, Giulia said softly. He blinked, shaking his head, and mumbled something in Russian before retreating back to his lab. He's adjusting, Eric said after Ivan vanished. The darkness gets to some faster than others. Pierre noted the oddity, unease growing. 8 months. That was longer than most rotations. If isolation hit that hard, what would 3 months do to him? The tour continued. Labs crammed with spectrometers and weather monitors, storage rooms stacked with crates of freeze-dried rations, mechanical bays humming with generators. Everything functional, but the perpetual curtains made it feel like a tomb. As evening crept in, though evening was arbitrary in the polar twilight, the staff began their ritual. Giulia checked curtains, Eric tested door seals, even Ivan emerged to inspect his section. Nightly prep, Eric explained. We secure everything before the dark deepens. Pierre assisted Giulia with the last windows, securing heavy thermal blankets. Why block all light? Morale would benefit from views during the day. Daylight's fine, she replied curtly, but after dark, covered, end of story. Her finality brooked no argument. As they finished, Pierre felt the station's weight pressing in, an oppressive sense that this was no mere research post, but a fortress against something unnamed. Settling into his cabin that night, Pierre unpacked his instruments, trying to focus on science. The rules nagged at him, folklore masquerading as protocol. Rational explanations abounded, psychological safeguards against cabin fever, perhaps enforced after past incidents. But watching Eric and Giulia move with grim efficiency, their faces etched with genuine caution, made dismissal harder. These were expert survivors. If they believed these measures vital, maybe there was truth buried in the ice. Pierre glanced at his watch. 10:45. The heating vents whispered like distant breaths. He lay back, staring at the ceiling, confident his logical mind would prevail. Vostok was extreme, but science conquered extremes. Unbeknownst to him, in the lab across the hall, Ivan Petrov stood before his curtained window, lips moving in silent whispers. "It has heard your name already, Pierre Dubois," he murmured in accented French, a faint smile curling his lips. "And it hungers." Pierre's first night in his cramped cabin felt like being entombed in a steel sarcophagus. The bunk was surprisingly firm, but the absolute silence, broken only by the rhythmic whoosh of the heating system, disoriented him completely. No city hum, no distant traffic, just the station's mechanical heartbeat echoing through the walls. He tried organizing his atmospheric probes, reviewing data protocols on his tablet, anything to anchor himself in routine. But by 11:00 p.m., exhaustion won. He changed into thermal layers and slid under the covers, his internal clock scrambled by the endless polar twilight. Lying there, staring at the riveted ceiling, Pierre replayed the day's absurdities. No whistling, he smirked in the dark, probably some Soviet holdover from the Cold War. His watch glowed. 11 p.m. exactly on cue. The first sound came from above, a piercing screech, like diamond-tipped blades raking across the station's reinforced roof. Pierre bolted upright, heart pounding. The noise dragged slowly from left to right, deliberate, as if something massive was methodically scoring the metal. Ice expansion, his mind rationalized. Thermal contraction in the degrees C night. Then came the footsteps. Not the skitter of wind-blown debris or cracking ice. No, these were thuds, seismic vibrations that rattled his bunk frame. Each step measured, purposeful, circling the station's perimeter with mechanical precision. The ground quaked faintly, transmitting through the ice foundation like aftershocks from an unseen earthquake. Pierre's scientific brain cataloged subglacial tremors from Lake Vostok below, seismic activity amplified by the plateau. But the rhythm was too perfect. Boom, pause, boom, pause, circling clockwise, then revering. He swung his legs off the bed and crept to the cabin's lone window, hand hovering over the blackout curtain. Eric's voice echoed in his skull. "Never look outside between 11 and 3:33. Break them and you don't make it out alive." Superstition, Pierre thought. Observe, document. Science demands evidence. His fingers grazed the fabric, just a peek. What harm in? He yanked the curtain aside. The world beyond was a void of swirling black, lit only by the faint aurora's green haze. But there, 30 meters out on the ice, two crimson eyes glowed like furnace coals, massive, unblinking, embedded in the snow. Not on the surface, under it, staring up through 2 meters of ice directly at him. Pierre's ears rang with a high-pitched whine, and warm blood trickled from his nose, splattering the windowsill. The eyes pulsed once, and a guttural whisper slithered into his mind, not words, but intent. "Pierre Dubois." He slammed the curtain shut, stumbling back, pulse thundering. Hallucination, oxygen deprivation. Thin air at 3,488 meters, but the blood on his hand was real, sticky, and warm. The footsteps resumed, faster now, accompanied by that screeching, claws of crystal raking the walls. The station groaned under the assault. By midnight, chaos reigned outside. The circling accelerated into a frenzy, vibrations shaking loose dust from the vents. Then the howling began, not wind, not animals, but a deep, resonant keening that bypassed his eardrums and vibrated in his ribcage. It rose and fell in patterns, almost linguistic, like an ancient tongue clawing its way from the abyss. Pierre clapped his hands over his ears, but it penetrated bone, making his teeth ache. Knock, knock, knock. Methodical raps at the main hatch, patient, insistent, not frantic, testing. Pierre heard movement in the corridor, soft footsteps, then Giulia's whisper, thin as ice cracking. "Just the wind. We all know it's just the wind." Her voice cracked, betraying terror. The knocking shifted, side entrance, then rear airlock, then cargo bay. Whatever circled the station was mapping it, probing every seal with diamond-hard claws. Urgency built. The raps turned aggressive, pounding with force that buckled metal. One came from directly below his window, so close Pierre smelled ozone like lightning on ice. He grabbed his pillow, smothering the noise, but the symphony raged. Howls weaving through claw scrapes, footsteps thundering like a herd of titans. Multiple entities. The intelligence was undeniable, coordinated, patient, hungry. Hours blurred. His watch ticked to 1:00 a.m. 2:00 No lull, no retreat. Whatever prowled Vostok had endurance beyond biology. At exactly 3:33 a.m. silence. Absolute ringing void. Pierre's ears buzzed from the sudden drop. No fatting echoes, just gone. He lay rigid until dawn's gray filter seeped through curtain gaps, muscles knotted like cables. Sleep was impossible. By 6:00 a.m. he dressed and staggered to the kitchen, legs wobbling. Giulia was there, brewing coffee with mechanical precision, her face ashen but composed, like this was Tuesday. "Sleep well?" she asked, not meeting his eyes. Pierre hesitated, blood crusting his upper lip. "You didn't hear anything last night." She slid him a mug, tone neutral. "Arctic nights take adjusting." Bullshit, her whisper betrayed her. He let it drop, gulping scalding coffee. After a silent breakfast of rehydrated oats, Pierre needed air, daylight to reclaim sanity. He suited up in full Antarctic gear, triple parka, face mask, heated boots, and unsealed the main hatch. The -68°C air hit like a sledgehammer, but the plateau's clarity was intoxicating. Endless ice under a pale sun, no horizon, just white infinity. He circled the station under pretense of familiarizing layout, but hunted evidence. He found it 50 meters out, footprints. Not tracks, craters, each 5 meters across, sunk 2 meters deep through compacted ice into permafrost. Dozens ringed the station in perfect circuits, matching the night's rhythm. Edges glittered with ice crystals, not frost, but grown razor shards like frozen coral. Pierre knelt by one, sketching dimensions, 4.8 m diameter, claw marks radiating outward in starburst patterns. Weight, at least 20 tons per step. No earthly animal. He traced the path, main hatch, side vents, his window, tested every point. "Find something interesting, Dubois." Pierre spun. Eric approached, expression grim, unsurprised. He scanned the prints like an old scar. "These things," Pierre stammered, pointing. "What makes prints this size? Polar bears don't live here." Eric crouched, running a gloved finger over a crystal shard. It hummed faintly. "Some questions wake worse things than answers." "But the size, the pattern, this is physical proof." Eric stood, eyes cold as the ice. "Proof gets people killed. Remember the rules, or don't, and join the ones who didn't make it home." He turned away, leaving Pierre alone with the evidence. For an hour, Pierre measured, photographed, calculated. Spacing, 8.2 m stride. Depth, consistent seismic force. By 10:00 a.m., sun-warmed ice softened edges. By noon, prints blurred to nothing. Only his photos remained irrefutable. Back inside. Forced normalcy, unpacking spectrometers, calibrating ozone sensors. Science as armor. At 5:00 p.m., Eric's voice boomed over intercom. "Monday inventory. Assigned areas now." Pierre joined Giulia in the main storage dome, a cavern of crates under thermal lamps. She handed him a clipboard. Canned protein, 24 units. Dried veg, 18 packs. They worked methodically, her voice monotone from repetition. Halfway through proteins, Pierre froze. In the trash bin, an empty can, label pristine, premium cat food, salmon supreme. "Giulia, we have cats." She examined it, frowning. "No pets, ever." Manifest check, 0 pet supplies. Can was fresh purchased last month. Supply mix-up. Giulia set it aside uneasy. Maybe. 20 minutes later, worse. Behind rice sacks, 3 20 kg bags of dry cat food, sealed, stickers dated October 2025. Not on manifest. All orders through Eric, Giulia whispered. These appeared. Pierre's stomach nodded. No errors manifestation. They finished in silence, omitting the cat food from official logs. Pierre sought Ivan in the Meteo lab, screens flickering with wind data, air thick with static. Ivan, inventory weirdness, cat food not on records, and last night those sounds. Ivan stood rigid before a curtained viewport, back turned. No response. Pierre repeated. Silence save humming monitors. Ivan. Slowly Ivan pivoted, his eyes pupils black voids locked on Pierre's, not blinking. A minute stretched predatory stare dissecting him. Then, wordless, Ivan brushed past, exiting. Pierre shuddered. That wasn't isolation. That was wrong. Dinner, 4 at the table, stew bubbling. Pierre discussed pressure readings with Giulia when Ivan halted mid-bite, fork frozen, eyes vacant on the wall behind Pierre. Ivan, Giulia snapped. No blink, 10 minutes, catatonic statue. She touched his shoulder. Ivan jerked awake, inhaling sharply. Sorry, what? You zoned out, she said carefully. Was I? Blank, no memory. Pierre's appetite died. Cat food, prints, stares, patterns emerged, not random but systematic. Washing dishes later, Giulia whispered. He's worsening since you arrived. Watch him. Pierre nodded, skepticism fracturing. Vostok wasn't extreme weather. It was wrong. And Ivan's whisper from day one echoed, it has heard your name. Outside, under fading light, new glints on the ice. Cat food bags torn open, contents gone. Nearby, dark stains, not spilled salmon. Blood. Pierre woke on the morning of day 2 with a metallic tang coating his tongue, the aftertaste of dried blood from his nosebleed. The cabin's heating vents wheezed like labored breaths, but the air felt thicker, heavier, as if the station itself were exhaling dread. He dressed quickly, the D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N from last night's glimpse throbbing faintly behind his eyes, a whisper in archaic Russian, unintelligible but insistent. Hallucination residue, he told himself. High altitude playing tricks. The kitchen was empty at 6:30 a.m., normal for early shifts. Pierre headed to storage for breakfast rations, unsealing the heavy door. The sight stopped him cold. Shelves that brimmed full last night now gaped with voids. 3 cans of beans gone, 2 pasta boxes vanished, an entire 10 kg sack of flour missing. Normal consumption for 4 people. No. This was asterisk plunder asterisk. He grabbed his notebook, cross-referencing Monday's inventory. Discrepancy screamed. 8,400 calories unaccounted for overnight. Then he saw the trails, fine breadcrumbs and flour dust snaking across the floor, not scattered randomly but in deliberate asterisk lines. 5 distinct paths converging toward restricted zones. A sealed maintenance closet, the generator sublevel, even Ivan's lab door. 1 trail vanished under the maintenance closet, its frame wrapped in industrial tape asterisk, freshly disturbed, edges peeled back just wide enough for something small to squeeze through. Pierre knelt tracing the flour. Rodents? Impossible. Mice didn't haul entire sacks. This was asterisk organized theft asterisk. The tape's adhesive glistened, torn within hours. Whatever took the food was asterisk intelligent asterisk. Footsteps approached. Giulia entered, tying her apron. Dubois, what are you? He pointed silently. Her face drained of color as she followed the trails, notebook in hand. 20 minutes of frantic recounting confirmed it. Shortages equaled multiple full meals. Someone stealing at night, Pierre said, and moving it to sealed areas. Nobody here would, Giulia whispered, but doubt cracked her voice. She examined the closet tape, fingers trembling. This was secure yesterday. Pierre nodded, stomach twisting. Internal sabotage or something worse. Eric arrived for coffee, his beard flecked with frost from an outdoor check. Pierre laid it out. Numbers, trails, tape. Eric's reaction chilled deeper than the ice asterisk, not asterisk surprise, but weary resignation, like diagnosing a terminal patient. These things happen sometimes, he said flatly, sipping coffee. Asterisk things, Pierre exploded. We're starving ourselves. What things steal flour in star patterns? Eric's eyes hardened. Systematic like the prince. He glanced at the trails, arranged in an asterisk five-pointed star asterisk, ancient and deliberate. Leave it, I'll handle. But his tone screamed inaction. As Eric left, Ivan shuffled in, vacant as ever. He bypassed the table, planting himself before the kitchen's curtained viewport. Rigid, arms pinned, head cocked, asterisk listening asterisk. His breath fogged the fabric in shallow bursts, pupils dilated black in the bright lights. Ivan, food's ready, Giulia called. Nothing. 5 minutes, Pierre approached cautiously. Up close, Ivan's eyes fixed on a single curtain seam, lips moving silently, asterisk Slava, Slava, asterisk Old Russian, worship. Ivan, asterisk eat. A slow blink. Ivan turned, disoriented, fog in his gaze. Did you say something? No memory, again. Throughout breakfast, his eyes darted back to the curtain, fork stabbing mechanically. Pierre's skin crawled. The D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N in his head pulsed. Slava, to the eternal ice. Mid-morning, Pierre calibrated ozone monitors in the lab when Giulia's shout echoed. Ivan, what the hell? He sprinted to storage. Ivan crouched by the taped closet, fingers asterisk peeling tape strips methodically, gap widening to fist size. Flour dust coated his gloves. I heard something inside, Ivan said, voice rehearsed, eyes glazed. Giulia yanked his hands away. This is sealed for safety. Nobody touches it. Ivan nodded meekly, retreating, but not before glancing back, hungry asterisk. Pierre caught it, not curiosity, anticipation. That afternoon brought horror. Pierre organized data in his cabin when Giulia knocked, slipping inside, voice a hiss. We need to talk, privately. Her face was ashen. Ivan's asking about you, personal, wrong asterisk personal. Pierre's blood iced, like what? Your Paris address, family names, your sister Claire, parents in Lyon if you live alone, and, she swallowed, how long they'd survive if you asterisk disappeared. The room spun, no research need for that. Why? I don't know, but he's changed since you arrived, fixated, and last night, I saw him by the closet at 2 a.m. Pierre's D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N surged. Ivan whispers your name to it. He's not isolating, he's hosting asterisk something. Giulia gripped his arm. Watch your back, Eric's noticed too. Dinner that night crackled with tension. Rehydrated stew, canned veg, rations thinning visibly. Pierre discussed stratospheric readings with Giulia when Ivan lunged. Fork clattering, he seized Pierre's wrist, yanking his hand across the table. Teeth sank into Pierre's forearm. Asterisk deep asterisk, arterial. Pain exploded. Pierre screamed, wrenching free. Blood welled, crimson on the tablecloth. Giulia bolted up, grabbing a knife. Ivan, stop. Eric tackled him, pinning Ivan face down. Sedate him, med kit now. Giulia injected a syringe. Ivan slumped, but not before his eyes, fully black, locked on Pierre's. A whisper slithered out. Dobro Pajalovet. Welcome, Dubois. Pierre staggered to the sink, bandaging the bite. 2 inches deep, punctures too precise. As blood-soaked gauze, the D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N ignited. Russian chants flooded his mind, clear now, asterisk praise the Eternal One, risen from the frozen abyss. Giulia cleaned the wound. Rabies? No, worse. Eric dragged Ivan to quarters. Locked down, he's the source. Pierre calculated supplies that evening, numbers damning. Oxygen reserves at 62%, blowing snow buried the backup intakes. Storm forecast, Category 5, 320 km/h, sealing them 48 hours. Food, 36 hours max. We're dying, he told Eric in the office. Eric's face blanked, eyes glazing, voice not as asterisk. Leave early, Dubois, or feed it. Seconds of void, then focus snapped back. What was I saying? Pierre fled, heart hammering. Possession, Eric too. Day 3 blurred in paranoia. Pierre barricaded his door, bite throbbing unnaturally, veins blackening around it. Whispers constant, open the closet, feed the star. Oxygen alarms beeped, 48% left. Giulia taught him the flare gun, aim for eyes, melts ice flesh. Eric confessed hoarsely, Ivan's not first. Killed 2 last rotation, to seal the breach. Night 3, howls returned, louder, synced to Pierre's pulse. Closet tape tore itself, asterisk, scratches inside, mewling like starved cats. But deeper, Pierre, join us. Day 4, oxygen 22%. Visions plagued Pierre, crimson eyes under ice, Ivan's smile merging with crystalline maw. Supplies gone, star pattern etched in empty shelves. Eric gathered them. Pierre, asterisk, run, take the snowcat. 600 km to Murney, or kill Ivan in the host. Giulia pressed the flare gun into his hand. We hold here, buy time. Pierre's bite burned, whispers roaring, you are marked. It comes for Paris next. Sanity frayed but resolve hardened. Science failed. Survival demanded asterisk action. At 9:00 p.m., oxygen 18%, station shaking, Pierre made his choice. Snowcat keys in pocket, he slipped from his cabin. Eric nodded grimly from the office. Giulia whispered, Vive la France. Ivan's door creaked, black eyes watching. Pierre unsealed the equipment bay. Wind screamed 300 km/h. Engine roared to life. 600 km through dry valleys, fossil bones, no mercy. As he gunned it into the blizzard, a second engine growled behind. Ivan's voice on radio. You can't outrun eternity, Dubois. The hunt began. Pierre's gloved hands trembled on the snowcat's controls, not from the -75°C wind slicing through seals, but from the bite wound pulsing like a second heartbeat. Black veins spiderwebbed up his forearm, glowing faintly under thermal layers. The D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N roared in his skull. Run, little Frenchman. We taste Paris soon. He slammed the throttle, the tracked vehicle lurching forward with a diesel growl that barely pierced the Category 5 blizzard. Winds at 320 km/h hurled ice shards like shrapnel, visibility 0, beyond the headlights' 10-meter tunnel. The dry valleys unfolded ahead, Antarctica's Mars on Earth, 600 kilometers of desiccated hell. Red Rock Canyon scoured barren, fossilized dinosaur bones jutting from permafrost like accusing fingers. No snow, just wind-polished stone and sudden crevasses dropping to abyssal black. GPS blinked. ****0 km/600 km to Murney ****. Fuel, full. Oxygen mask, hissing pure O2 from the tank. Flare gun, loaded, strapped to his chest. They'll hold the station, he told himself. Giulia's flares, Eric's seals, 48 hours till rescue. But Ivan's radio crackle shattered hope. Dubois, you left them to me. Slava, laughter, wet, crystalline, dissolved into static. Pierre pushed 55 kph, snowcat bouncing over frozen rills. At 5 km out, peripheral movement. Something massive asterisk flanked him, keeping pace effortlessly. A shadow larger than an elephant, disturbing red dust in his mirrors. He whipped his head, nothing. Illusion. D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N. Accelerated to 65 kph. The shadow matched, gliding parallel, silent as death. 7 km. It crossed ahead asterisk, a blur of crystalline black streaking left to right at the headlight edge. Too fast. Impossible. Pierre's mind raced. It flanked through the storm, outpacing 65 kph over broken terrain. The entity had asterisk teleported through the gale, bypassing his path. No animal. TH letter 1EF1C TH letter 1EC3 bang vin. Radio hissed. Look left, Pier, see your future. Ivan's voice, but layered with 1,000 frozen whispers. Pier veered right, gut screaming. 10 km. A asterisk touch asterisk. Something brushed the snowcat's flank, vibrations rattling the frame. Metal screeched asterisk, paint gouged by diamond claws. He spun, spotlight sweeping empty dark. But in the mirror, red eyes asterisk, 3 pairs hovering 20 meters back, bobbing with inhuman rhythm. 15 km. The chase intensified. Shadows multiplied, 4 now, herding him toward a crevasse field. Pier swerved, track skidding on ice glaze. GPS. 15,600 km asterisk. The entity ahead again, towering silhouette, 8 meters tall, body a writhing mass of ice spikes and black voids. It waved asterisk, a mockery of greeting, before melting into wind. Sing for us, Dubois, radio screamed. Whistle. The D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N compelled Pier's lips to purse, asterisk no. He bit his tongue, blood mixing with oxygen mask fog. Rule 6, no sounds. They called asterisk it. 25 km. Dry valleys proper. Towering granite spires loomed, wind moaning through arches like banshee choirs. Fossil whale bones littered the valley floor, behemoths from 50 million years past, crushed under unseen weight. Pier's snowcat roared over them, headlights catching ribcage big as houses. Movement everywhere. Shadows paced both sides, asterisk dozens now, forming a moving corridor. One asterisk leapt asterisk arcing over the vehicle, landing ahead with earth-shaking asterisk thud. Pier yanked the wheel, snowcat fishtailing into a spin. Crack asterisk rear track snagged a crevasse lip. The vehicle teetered, half over the 100-meter drop. Fall. Pier joined the lake below, Ivan's laugh. Pier gunned reverse, track screamed, ripping free. He cleared the edge by inches, heart exploding. But triumph died, radio missed. Then asterisk engine sputter asterisk, dashboard fuel line breach. Claws had asterisk sliced it mid-spin. Pressure dropping, 75%, 60%. 35 km. Storm peaked, visibility 2 meters. Pier killed non-essentials, lights dimmed to slits. Shadows closed, brushing hull constantly, scrape, thud, screech. One punched the windshield, asterisk crack asterisk, red eye glaring through fractured glass, pupil a swirling vortex. Pier fired the flare gun blind, asterisk whoosh asterisk, crimson flare erupted, melting a 5-meter hole in the entity. It shrieked asterisk, collapsing into steaming shards. Radio exploded. You heard, Ivan, bad boy. Pain lanced Pier's bite, veins flaring blue. He screamed, vision blurring. D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N. We are Legion. 50 km. Fuel 40%. A second snowcat engine, asterisk behind asterisk. Headlights pierced the blizzard. Ivan asterisk, gaunt face grinning through frost-rimmed mask, gaining at 70 kph. You can't outrun eternity. Pier floored it, 75 kph max. Valleys narrowed. Sheer cliffs funneled wind to 400 km/h. Ivan rammed his rear, asterisk crash asterisk, snowcat bucked, Pier's head slamming dash. Stars burst. Blood from temple mixed with bite ooze. Stop fighting, let it in. Ivan's voice, but inside Pier's skull now. 80 km. Fuel 25%. Pier spotted salvation. Blood falls asterisk, iron oxide waterfall frozen crimson, a natural choke point. Narrow gap between cliffs, 4 meters wide. His snowcat, 3.8 m. Ivan's, same. He aimed, Ivan accelerated side by side. Entity swarmed, howling chorus, asterisk Slava, Slava. 100 meters straight away. Pier baited, slowed fractionally. Ivan surged ahead, laughing. At 110 km, asterisk cliff edge. Pier swerved asterisk into him. Asterisk metal scream asterisk. Both vehicles tangled, hurtling toward the gap. Ivan's snowcat clipped the cliff, asterisk sparks asterisk, flipping end over end into the crevasse. NOOO, radio cut. Explosion bloomed below. orange fireball lighting fossil bones like hellish X-ray. Pier's vehicle grounded tracks shredded, hull smoking but cleared the gap. He tumbled out, flare gun raised. Entities encircled, 20 crimson eyes in the dark. Largest stepped forward, Ivan's face embedded in ice chest, mouth moving. You killed host. Pier fired last flare, direct hit. Titan vaporized, shards raining. Smaller ones recoiled, shrieking retreat into storm. Silence, fuel 5%, tracks gone. He abandoned the wreck, grabbing survival pack. GPS handheld, 115 600 km. Dawn's first gray pierced clouds at 130 km. Pier trudged, legs lead. Bite froze, crystallizing arm to elbow. Whispers faded but warning lingered. Paris, soon. 200 km, dehydration. Drank melted ice, metallic tang. Visions, Giulia's scream, Eric's blank eyes, radio static. Vostok, breach. Ivan's body, moving. 300 km, heat exhaustion in minus 70 degrees C. Collapsed by meteorite crater, stars mocking above. D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N pulsed. Give up. We are under you. 400 km, Murney's radar ping salvation. But entities returned bolder. Shadows underground plateau rippling . One burst through ice beside him, claws raking parka. Pier rolled, stabbing with ice axe. Crack arm shattered against crystal hide. Bones snapped, radius and ulna dust. Pain blinded. He crawled, arm dangling useless. 500 km, hallucinations. Ivan walked parallel, waving cheerfully. 550 km, lights, Murney Station, Russian outpost, prefab domes glowing amber. Pier staggered into floodlights, collapsing at hatch. Whoosh warm air. Anya Kuznetsova, waitress from the canteen, dragged him inside. Frankas, from Vostok, Blyet, another one. Medics swarmed. Arm, infected crystalline growth. They sawed it off its shoulder, screams echoing. Morphine dreams, crimson eyes under Paris cobblestones. Pier woke 12 hours later, bandaged, IV dripping. Anya sat vigil. You made it, first in 2 years. Station, he croaked. Her face darkened. Gone, you triggered the failsafe. Pier's eyes widened. No. Anya nodded. Eric's message via Dmitri, bomb the core, seal the gate. Oxygen warheads, Russian military grade, detonated at dawn. Vostok, vapor. Giulia, Eric, dead. All but Ivan, his, remains crawled into the lake, they'll freeze him eternal. Pier wept, one-armed. 600 km1, but war just began. Pierre Dubois woke to the sterile hum of Murney Station's infirmary, his body a battlefield of sutures and phantom pain. The stump of his right shoulder throbbed under fresh bandages, ending in a crystalline scar that gleamed like frozen quartz. No infection, the Russian medics had said, but something else. They wouldn't touch it. His left arm, the bitten one, was intact but forever marked. Black veins faded to silver threads, pulsing faintly when the whispers returned. Morphine dulled the edges but not the memories. 600 kilometers of hell, Ivan's flaming wreck, crimson eyes under Paris stone. A digital clock glowed. October 25, 2025, 14:30. He'd been out 12 hours. Outside the frost-rimmed window, Murney bustled. Russian technicians in red parkas loading cargo planes, children kicking a soccer ball across packed snow, normalcy that felt alien. Antarctica's coastal edge, 300 km from Vostok's abyss, where life clung despite the void. Anya Kuznetsova sat beside him, graying hair tucked under a wool cap, pouring tea from a samovar. Her face, weathered by 20 Antarctic winters, held no pity, only the grim understanding of a woman who'd seen too many survivors stumble through her diner door. You made it, Frankas, she said in accented English, handing him a mug. Steam curled like ghosts. First from Vostok in 2 years. Dimitri's prepping your flight to Anchorage. Moscow connection to Paris. Tonight. Pierre sipped, scalding his tongue. The station, you said. Anya nodded, eyes distant. Gone, Eric's failsafe. Oxygen bombs, Russian military surplus. Dmitri triggered them at dawn per Eric's last radio. Bomb the core, seal the gate, tell Dubois rules live on. Vostok's a crater now. 4-kilometer ice sheet vaporized, lake sealed under rubble. Pierre's breath hitched. Julia, Eric. Visions flashed, her flare teaching him aim, his confession of past kills. Heroes, not madmen. Casualties. All but Ivan, his body crawled into the subglacial lake before detonation. They'll freeze him eternal down there. Anya's voice hardened. But you know better, it doesn't die. The D letter 1EA5 U letter 1EA5N stirred, whispers in archaic Russian. Slava, eternal, Paris. Pierre clenched his jaw. The rules, I need to write them. Anya slid paper and pen across the tray. Do it. Every survivor does. We send copies to every station, McMurdo, Amundsen Scott, Dumont d'Urville, the Guardian Network. Started 1957, first Vostok breach. Pierre's pen flew, blood-flecked hand steady. Vostok rules, mandatory survival. Never look outside 11-333, eyes below see you. No answering knocks after dark, they test seals. Monday 5:00 p.m., full inventory, star patterns mean breach. Report ice holes immediately, pour boiling fuel, burns the tendrils. Flag strange behavior, black eyes equals host, kill or run. No outside after sunset, station seals. No singing, whistling, sound calls it from the abyss. Addendum Dubois, if bitten cauterize with flare. Amputate if crystals grow, it marks you forever. He signed Pierre Dubois, Survivor 47. Anya took the pages, folding them into a diplomatic pouch. Flies to Moscow tonight, interpolated into all protocols. Weather anomalies. They think it's cabin fever protocol. Pierre laughed bitterly. Science blinds them. Not you, not anymore. Anya stood. Dmitri's here. The door swung open. Dmitri Volkov, broad as a bear, scarred from 30 years hauling station evacuees, entered with a duffel of Pierre's gear. Dubois, you look like frozen shit but alive. Gruff Russian, perfect French accent. He clasped Pierre's good hand. Plane in 2 hours, I fly you myself. How many? Pierre asked. Like me. Dmitri's eyes shadowed. 1 a year average, Vostok's hungriest. 1957, first team drilled 2 deep. Woke it, see Thulhoid thing older than dinosaurs, Soviet cover-up, we clean up. He tapped the pouch. Your rules saved 200 lives since. Pierre nodded, tears pricking. Julia's sacrifice, Eric's fire, thank them, somehow. We do, statues in Moscow basement. Dmitri grinned wolfishly. Now move, Paris waits. Flight to Anchorage, 4 hours. Dmitri's Antonov and 2 droned over Ross Sea, icebergs like shattered teeth below. Pierre stared at his stump, flexing phantom fingers. Whispers quiet now but watching. Dmitri briefed mid-flight. University called. Your S-letter 1 EBFP, Dr. Morrow. Told him equipment failure, storm damage. Full pay, new assignment, French Alps, clean. And the truth? Dmitri shrugged. Truth kills careers or sanity. Anchorage Airport, chaos of oil workers and tourists. Pierre boarded Air France to Paris, first class, courtesy of diplomatic incident. As the Boeing 787 taxied, he pressed against the window. Alaska's white expanse faded to cloud, but his mind replayed Vostok. Crater smoking, lake sealed, Ivan's eyes frozen mid-smile. Paris, Charles de Gaulle, 0600, October 26. Dawn gilded the Eiffel Tower as Pierre's cab wound through boulevards. Home, Montmartre apartment overlooking Sacré-Cœur. Sister Claire met him at the door, tears, hugs, awkward, one-armed. Pierre, what happened? Your arm. Explosion, research accident. Lies flowed easy now. I'm fine, need rest. She fussed, croissants, espresso. Parents called from lie on video beaming pride. Nobel next A, Pier smiled, but the D letter 1EA5U letter 1EA5N twitched. Family. Tasty. Alone by noon, Pier unpacked. Notebook, flare gun smuggled, crystal shard from his arm pocketed before amputation. He sat at his desk, Sorbonne diploma mocking from the wall. Atmospheric research. Laughable now. Phone rang, Dr. Morrow. Dubois, horrific luck but brilliant work before cutoff. Alp station next month, safer climate, publish your prelims. Yes, Pier lied, sending now. He hung up, opened laptop. Email draft to 50 Antarctic stations worldwide, encrypted, anonymous. Subject, Vostok Protocol Update Critical. From Survivor 47, rules attached. Follow or die, it sleeps but dreams of you. Send. Then the ritual, Pier lit candles 6 for 6 rules, placed crystal in center, pricked finger good hand dripped blood, whispers rose Slava. He crushed the shard under boot crack, silence fell. Months passed. December 2025, Pier defended his thesis, stratospheric anomalies Alps data, standing ovation, Nobel whispers, but nights, phantom itches, dreams of red eyes under Seine bridges. June 2026, wedding invitation, Claire's, Pier flew Lion, charming one-armed hero. Reception, laughter, champagne, midnight dance, Claire spun him. Laughter died. Across the floor, Ivan Petrov, gaunt, smiling, arm crystalline to shoulder, toast glass raised, Slava brother. Pier froze, crowd blurred, Ivan's eyes black voids, Paris now, whisper in skull. Security cameras later showed. No Ivan, just Pier swaying alone. July 2026. The oath, Pier vanished from academia. Official story, sabbatical, truth, Moscow vault, Guardian Network HQ. Anya waited, tea steaming. Number 47, ready. He nodded, prosthetic arm gleaming, crystal-infused titanium, Dimitri's gift. Rules updated. Distributed, 3 stations saved last winter. She handed dossier, Paris anomalies, unexplained holes, cat food in sewers, black-eyed vagrants. Pier signed, Guardian Dubois, primary host countermeasure. Final scene, Paris rooftops, October 20, 2026. 1 year exact. Pier perched atop Notre Dame, wind whipping coattails. Below, Seine glittering, oblivious millions. Prosthetic flexed, click. Flare gun loaded. Whispers returned, we rise in Paris. Ground trembled faintly, cathedral gargoyles shifted, red eyes glowed from sewer grates. Pier smiled grimly. Not tonight, fired flare into sky crimson bloom. Network activated, 50 cities synchronized bombs seals. Eyes retreated, silence. He wrote in notebook, Rule 8 in cities watch the reflections, it mirrors back. Dawn broke, Pier descended, prosthetic humming. Science failed, but he was the weapon now. The eternal ice slumbers, but guardians never sleep. Epilogue. Murney Diner, Antarctica. Anya pours tea for new arrival, shivering French researcher. Rough night, Hun. Vostok Protocol, he whispers, clutching rules. She nods, follow or join 48. Outside, wind howls. Red eyes watch from ice, Slava.